education. You just need the vocational training,
Yep.
right? Just like you're in electrical right now, right? So these places like Memphis, that really, hit me right there with the 49%.
Yeah, man.
You put a vocational trade school there, and you teach them how to do electrical work, carpentry work, pipe fitting work. That's one of my best friends. He's a pipe fitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing that for over 10 years. Now he's a foreman. You know what I mean? He's making six figures.
I'll put it to you like this,
people that don't have any skills out of the schools that don't care about them.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give them the skills for this generation to move forward, and I think that needs to happen.
Well, let me hit you with this one. Let me give you this aspect of it. They've got to want to do it, though, too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They have to want to use those vocational things, skills that you can get, but you got to want to go get it. Don't just think that, you wake up in the morning, they're supposed to come to your door and say, here.
Right.
No, you're supposed to get up and be hungry to go get it like me. I'm hungry.
You can lead a horse to water, but you
can't make him drink.
Absolutely not.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of horses these days don't have water unless they're being from Michigan and with a mama from Flint. Even if they get the water, it may be contaminated. So the thing is, like we have to create the opportunity. The entire thing with Culture PHX was me seeing an opportunity to build a way and to create some function of cooperative economics and to connect people who have similar goals and beliefs, so to get everybody together. If we're able to do that as a whole, we'd be good.
Right. Hey, man, and that's Ken's Top 10 for this week, man. I'd like to touch on that again and bring you back so we can talk a little bit more in depth on that, but we got to go.
Anytime you want me, man.
Right.
My pleasure.
But we got to go to break. We're going to start the second hour right now.
We'll come back.
So, Mark My Words Sports Show. We're going to go to the NHL Finals, more of the NBA playoffs, and some news and notes of this past week. Mark My Words Sports Show. We'll be right back. Call in 602-354-8823 and like, share, comment on all social media platforms. We'll be right back with Mark My Words Sports Show.
I saw it went to commercial.
Promotional consideration for this program is provided by MIM, Musical Instrument Museum, the world's only global musical instrument museum, and the MIM Music Theater at Tatum and Dale Boulevard in Phoenix. MIM.org.
It's just a t-shirt with Pusha T's face on it.
Who, Milwaukee's?
The only
Today we decided to walk to school. The one counted. 15, 21, 31, I mean 13. We took a left on right.
And he's smart.
Somebody
Distracted.
I realized
he forgot his homework.
I hope I don't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting from the campus of the Phoenix Center for the Arts, this is RadioPhoenix.org, Phoenix.
This file does not exist, but...
Oh, I know reception, man.
Giannis.
Mark My Words Sports Show's back for the second hour. Ezekiel Elliott is just one big dummy. We're going to tell you why. And Ndamukong Suh is now a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Is that a good deal or bad deal? Mark's going to talk more news and notes about the NFL and the NBA. What's going on with free agency coming up? There's a lot of chatter about the Los Angeles Clippers. Are they in play for Kevin Durant? We'll let you know what we've heard. And also, we're going to have Ken's 5 Things and the name games as well. So keep it locked right here on RadioPhoenix.org. Keep it 1 million. And as always, call in 602-354-8823 with your opinions.
Radio Phoenix wishes to thank underwriter Los Compadres Restaurant.
Los Compadres is in the heart of the 19 North Corridor in Phoenix.
Information and reservations on Jazz Night, Dinner, drinks, and reservations at 602-862-0043.
But if it's your season on the line,
follow those kids
one
game left.
so you
and Instagram.
You got one game left. It's gonna be 3-2.
Two if they lucky.
You just gotta win the next game.
Oh, this ain't a closeout game?
Oh no. So, Saturday will be the closeout.
This is Tara Gatewood.
So how do you start
Listen
this
to
up
Native
again?
America Calling
Well, I
one
can't do it
Radio
now because we're
Phoenix.
live.
Yeah,
So
Nation's
it's
first
gonna be a double.
electronic talking
put it in
circle
the
that
auto
brings you the
DJ
latest
and
on
then start
news and
playing
arts
stuff.
in Native
okay.
America.
Yeah.
We like to
Remember,
start up now. Like,
Native America Calling,
Come on.
only on
Yeah.
Radio Phoenix, where the Valley comes to
I don't know
talk,
how
sing,
you all
and
do it
connect.
when,
Native
my
America
show
Calling,
goes live,
weekdays
put
at
in the manual
2:06
DJ.
p.m.
Delete all the stuff.
on
So all I
and then
did was
just-
put click manual DJ.
We don't own the rights.
Right.
So
We don't own the rights to that depressing
We
song.
don't.
The violin.
105.99.
Game
We
over.
don't own the rights to.
Whatever it was depressing. I started crying. We don't own the rights to the tears.
It's what they're going to be playing in Milwaukee. Here
Right.
pretty
Man,
soon.
right.
I want to see the Drake memes from this one, though. That one I sent you this morning was funny as heck. That was hilarious. I was after surfing at 3 o'clock in the morning, just like, oh man, I'm naked clown Drake.
Man.
It's always an issue. I mean, look, it had nothing to do with our show though, so I'm fine with that. Just like whatever. Hey,
What you think about a mission to Mars?
I'm actually thinking, like, what was the last Canadian team to win a title?
Toronto Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays, yeah.
Didn't they go back to back?
Yeah, they went back to back 92 and 93.
wow, way back
I know that because I was born in 92, so.
I know that
For
I
the
watched
first 2 years I was alive, a Canadian team ruled baseball.
Yeah. I was there. I watched it.
Man.
then. You are a baby. I remember that.
I watched it live.
Yeah, because last team to win the Stanley Cup was, or last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup was Montreal, and that was 93.
Jesus Christ, for real? It's been that long?
Yep. Fun fact, an American team has won the Canadian Football Championship more recently than the Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup. And there hasn't been an American team since 95 in the CFL.
Wow. There's an American CFL team?
There was.
Was.
Oh, yeah?
And that's what makes the point even
Hey,
sadder.
Yeah.
crazy thing. You know who I met? Remember I went to that
There's a
ASU
team in like
thing?
Baltimore too, I think.
Really?
Remember I went to the ASU event? So at the end they had this reception, right? And I'm in line with this guy, older guy, black dude, bald head. We're just talking, and he was talking about he had to go back to Toronto, whatever. That's where he was at. Talking about he had a little youth league. He's coaching some kids, or whatever. Right? So we start talking, and he's from New York, so we start talking about the Knicks and everything, talking sports or whatever. And this one guy comes up to him and was like, oh, I can't believe you're here. It's so great. You're such a pioneer. Blah, 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 blah. Like, they're bowing down to this guy, right? And
Right.
I'm thinking, like, what the hell am I talking to, right?
Right.
He's like, yeah, what you did for the CFL and everything was amazing. I can't believe it. I forget his name, but he just stepped down in 2017. He was the first and only black commissioner of a sports league. I'm sitting next to the first and only black sports commissioner. He ran the CFL for like 3 years.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? I'm talking to this guy like we're just homies.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. Oh, yeah, I'm from Manhattan. Oh, really? We just talk like nothing. Like, are you serious?
Man.
I'm talking to like, and
But that's been one of the greatest things that I've learned. Like, and you called me a Renaissance man earlier. I appreciate that. One of my role models outside of my parents, my dad and my granddad, is Paul Robeson.
oh wow,
Yeah.
we're gonna come back right now.
85 colors out, make my
We don't own the rights to our intro
take what's
song.
yours.
Okay, now
The intro, that's
we don't own the
everybody know
rights.
That's Nipsey.
We don't own the rights. Don't get us.
The marathon continues. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, as always.
Rest in peace. We don't own the rights to none of them.
Now, we was just talking about the Eastern Conference Finals, which is a final right now. You have Toronto beating Milwaukee, 105-99.
This is the second hour, y'all.
All right. And
Drake is happy. They have him over there doing a concert.
Right. So you had Kawhi Leonard with 35 points. Van Vliet with 7 3-pointers, 21 points. That's all he did was shoot threes.
Well, the college and found a jump shot.
Right. Exactly. And
my name is Van Vliet, baby.
With a last name like that, you better shoot threes.
My name is Van Vliet, baby, and it runs sweet.
Right. He's coming off the bench with 21 points. Kyle Lowry with 17 and Siakam with 14.
Don't he look like I'll be sure? All he needed is a unibrow.
Right. And the Kumpo.
Hey, he's the original unibrow.
Right. He had 24 points. Brooke Lopez with 16. Bledsoe with 20. And Brogdon with 18. Now, the bench only scored 15 points. So, and you had 30 points off the bench for Toronto. So basically, really, this series has come from the bench. Okay, if you have players like Van Vliet and other players actually chipping in with big numbers like that, that are basically no names, you're gonna win the games like that, especially in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So if they win this next game, if they actually beat them again in Milwaukee and go on to face Golden State, do you think Toronto has a better chance having a bench that can actually score?
Because they got Gasol. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing that's really contradictory. The entire season, the thing that people have been talking about in the media or sportscasters or whatever have been bloviating about how deep the bench is. Milwaukee's bench just got outscored at home by Van Vliet single-handedly.
Yeah,
he told him.
Remember, you got Serge Ibaka.
They were mesmerized.
And Powell.
Man. They said, "Your name is what?" He said,
and Van Vliet.
Yeah. What happened is they saw him and thought it was Drake shooting threes. That's what happened.
Right.
But the thing, you cannot.
They've been draked.
You cannot. Your bench cannot allow, because at your bench you got the home cooking, so you're supposed to be able to shoot a little bit better. Especially after those 2 horrible games they just had, it was their responsibility to show up. Giannis had 24, 6, and 6. Yeah, you got to be a superstar. Yeah, he should have had a little bit higher numbers than that. But your bench has to give you more than 15 points at home in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
I could have gave more than 15 by myself off the bench.
I mean,
that was actually that was a live looking at the Toronto's press conference with Kawhi Leonard right there. Okay.
It was just perfect timing, though.
Wasn't it, though?
That was just perfect. It was just like, obviously, for speechless. Like, Dwayne, you in rare form tonight.
And
get him.
My thing is really Milwaukee. I mean, they have basically a team that can possibly beat Golden State with, all their players and
not playing like
top
they playing.
Defense, and they're not playing at all. These past 3 games,
they blow it up.
These past 3 games
are probably
it's
their worst games of the season as right now, and at the worst time. I mean, do you think? I don't think it's time to blow it up right now.
Yeah, it is. Giannis needs new monkeys with longer tails.
He needs help.
He needs new monkeys with longer tails.
It ain't even that. Like it's just. Sometimes you got to go. You know how Jordan had to go, get his butt kicked by the Pistons, and then once he broke through, he was good.
Yeah, but it didn't happen the last 5 years of his career either.
But Giannis is still young.
That wasn't just Jordan. That was the Pistons.
I mean,
it was Boston.
It was the Pistons.
You see what I mean? It was a maturation period.
Hold on, but here's the thing. For the first time in a long time, the East is actually good.
Yeah.
I mean,
the West is actually bad.
It's good. No, because even the West is still better than the East, because even though the East had the top 2 teams in the league, they still had teams with losing records in the playoffs. The West is still the more dominant league by far.
I got a question though. If you have Mirotic, Ilyasova, and George Hill on your bench, okay, these are basically formidable players that can actually start on other teams.
Yeah.
Not doing diddly. Okay,
but George Hill just being himself.
Points.
That's what he does.
What does George do to you?
And George Hill
nothing. He folded like a lawn chair.
12 points. You have to come way better than that.
Absolutely.
In the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like Kenny, you're saying they're just a bunch of nobodies, but if you get to this point,
you want to call Robbie and see what he thinks?
I know what I'm saying, but you've been the best team in the East this whole season.
The NBA, not even the East, the league.
Yeah,
you're the top team in the league.
Yeah.
Let's call Robbie and see what he thinks about your list you just read off. Right. That's my beat right there.
Right. That was ESPN. That it just.
Yeah, but that you should have let that roll. I didn't start rapping and
like you ever find yourself dying your head to a commercial?
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's the one for the kicks. I think.
Yeah, the car, and he put it together.
And it hit the foot. And
I wish I could do that right out the door from work. Bumping that song and pull out. Take that Intel. Oh.
Yeah, you might want to retract that.
Right.
Now,
we don't own the rights to what I just said. I rebuke it. We didn't say it.
Man. But no, the thing is, like, you have, like, there's regular season NBA and there's playoff NBA. You have a lot of people who are ready in the regular season, but the playoffs is a whole other beast, and you got to get ready.
Would you say that though? I wouldn't.
I would say that.
I just think it's just one bland coffee.
I say that. Well, you say that because you don't like it, so you're gonna hate it regardless of what I say. But the thing is, the Warriors are built for this. They've been in the finals. They've had their finals tickets reserved for half a decade straight.
Yeah, 5 years.
So that, I mean, and it's as a
first
team.
time it's happened since 1966.
Yeah, and that was.
But that's because you have bad basketball being played.
No, it's not that. You want to put it on. You mad because people ain't throwing elbows and punching and calling it just a regular foul. I get it. You long for the days of stickler defense with Rodman and Elijah Wan and the
Rick Mahorn,
the bad
Phil Langbeer.
Okay.
But
let's not go back in time. We don't have the time machine right now. But
why? I think we do.
I was going to be brief.
I got to keep moving. Go ahead.
Yeah. My point in saying that is times change. And just because you're not, you sound like the get off my lawn generation.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. So now that we know that,
I've been found.
But no, and the thing is, like for this, the Warriors are used to it. But this is new territory. Even being a number one seed, doing everything they've done, Giannis still has to find that way where he said, like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
You know how he does that?
Kawhi had his moment, and he realized that this is his year to do that with Toronto.
You know how he does that?
Oh.
He goes to L.A.
No.
He takes his talents to Los Angeles.
There's no way.
And there you go.
We're
back.
Barring somebody shooting Giannis in Milwaukee, he's going to be one of those Kobe players that finishes their entire career with one team. He's not, because of the family ties with the ownership.
Do you really feel confident in what you just said?
I do, because I've seen this story. Like, his agent has been watching him.
But these millennials say a lot one thing.
Hear me out.
And roll another.
Who are you talking about?
But I'm talking about Giannis. I ain't talking about millennials, because millennials is a whole other thing. Giannis started off 16. You're right. He's an immigrant. He started off on the streets, 16, homeless, running 5 miles back and forth to go to. Like, he has an actual relationship with the ownership in Milwaukee. So unless they just do him real dirty, he's not leaving. And it's got to be real dirty.
Okay.
Mark your words.
Mark my words.
We're gonna switch gears here.
2 years, you're gonna be a Lakers.
You're gonna have a huge discussion that can last probably hours on end.
Oh, we can go deep.
Yeah.
We can run.
So we gotta talk NHL finals. We gotta let DJ Hockey Chuck speak.
Yes.
What
happened?
Right. Exactly.
The day of Halloween.
He fell asleep. Right now you have Boston Bruins and the St. Louis Blues, two teams that no one even expected to make it this far, especially St. Louis with they basically fired their coach middle of the season and went on a historic run to make it here. How big is this matchup in the NHL circles and the national circles?
I mean, you're looking at, on one end you got the Bruins, who have been there, this is their third Stanley Cup final trip since 2011. The Blues haven't been to the Stanley Cup final in almost a half century.
Wow.
It was 49 years ago that the Blues were last in the playoffs, or last in the Stanley Cup final, where they got swept by, oddly enough, the Bruins. So, this is definitely a big story on both sides, because, Boston, it's become pretty much the city of champions. In just this year alone.
Mark my words. Sports Show rebuked that last. We rebuke everything you just
look,
said.
the Red Sox won the last World Series.
We don't have to go down the list. We know, yada, yada. Who cares?
And then the Patriots won, and then...
So let's talk about California teams and our dominance in the NHL, man. What do you think about that? No. This year we had San Jose going pretty deep.
Yeah, and then you might as well throw that missed the playoffs. So.
Hey, you might as well. Hey. You might as well throw the Vegas Golden Knights in there. They're a California team, honorary. You know what I mean? Everybody from LA and Vegas.
You know, it was so interesting because San Jose had so many controversial calls go their way, and yet they still can't make it to the promised land. It's
okay. Let's talk about. My question was, what do you think about the California dominance in the NHL? Because every year it seems that we have a surprising California team that goes pretty deep into the playoffs, starting with the Kings going back, almost back-to-back championships. I'm going to bring that up.
Well, I mean, was it...
All I heard, blah, 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 blah.
That's what, when he's listening to you, that's all he hears.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I could have the most valid point on earth, and that's completely out the
exactly. You see? Go ahead.
But, yes, San Jose made a deep run that was really not expected because, we all thought their window had closed, especially last year after they got knocked out in the second round by Vegas. So for them to come back from 3-1 down against Vegas to win that series on a very controversial call in Game 7 that gave them that 5-minute major and allowed them to score 4 power play goals and come back and win that game. And then the controversial call that helped them get a goal taken off for Colorado. They won that series in 7. They even had a controversial call in this very series against St. Louis. A very clear hand pass that did not get called in overtime. That led to
I seen that.
the game-winning goal in overtime. And yet they still couldn't get it done. It's just one of those weird things. Like San Jose, just for whatever reason, regardless of how much talent you give them and how much
help,
good luck, or help that.
Right.
You know what it is?
What is it?
They're just not the Kings.
Well, if they were the Kings, they would have been in last place and missed the playoffs altogether.
I have a question now. With all you said about the San Jose Sharks, would there be a kind of protesting or people kind of angry if they would have won and made it to the Stanley Cup final?
It would have been more fuel for the fire, I'm sure, going into meetings over the summer. Because I know Vegas's owner has been people in Vegas have been very vocal about instituting more reviews.
Well, here we go. They're going to tear hockey up.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, though, where, you hand a team a 5-minute power play where they can pump as many goals as they want on you and not lose that man advantage. That's something that, theoretically you wouldn't want to just hand out in a critical situation.
Play the game.
No,
so stoppage, man, and hockey's a beautiful game. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
When you allow it to be played, and I don't want to see them stop it just to make let them play.
Said, before we go to break, just quick question, like you were saying you don't like to stop it. Do you think the NHL may try to implement something like the NFL?
No,
and have reviews every other play, because if people are up in arms with what happened with San Jose, they're going to say something in the owners' meetings coming up probably in the next couple months about implementing something as not as deep as the NFL, but something similar.
I wouldn't compare it to that system. Like, I would like something more like what the NBA has with flagrants.
Exactly.
Where, if you're going to hand down a severe penalty like that,
you're getting soft.
Hey, I want them to get the call right.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Like, you talking about play the game. If you're going to play the game, get the calls right. That's an important part of it.
No, the important part of it is the human error. No. You don't want to take human error out of it. No, I don't have nothing to do.
You can't say that when it comes to the NFL now.
Explain to me.
I'm a Raider fan. I can't.
Hold on, wait. I need you to explain to me
that's the whole scoring. He's so scoring with that from back in the day that no matter even before that,
right?
No matter what goes on, that clicks in his head. You talking about reviews and whatnot? It's gonna click in Kenny's head.
The very first replay review was against us, and they jobbed us. The Immaculate Deception.
So that's why. So
Taxman got you down.
Personal.
Yeah, your whole thought got me down.
The Bilal Company is here to help. For 50 years, the Bilal Company has focused on building meaningful, long-lasting relationships, ensuring clients understand any and all complicated tax codes. Services include accounting, tax preparation, consulting, and more for both businesses and individuals. The office is located at 1204 East Baseline Road, Suite 104 in Tempe. More information can be found at BilalCompany.com. That's BilalCo.com. We'll be back, and we're going to discuss this on the other side.
No, I want to go to something else, man. I got mad. My blood pressure's high. I got to take pills now. What was I going to say? What do you think about...
They have to cut it off right there.
When we come back, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about who's going to be the hottest teams next year to look forward to? You know, not knowing the trades and what's going to go on in the off season, but
yeah.
All right, cool.
Who do you think?
Now, I do think, just going back to what we're talking about, I feel like maybe not instituted into the regular season, but playoffs.
Well, then they started with kind of changing the fight. They started in the playoffs first.
It starts somewhere, and then it grows like cancer.
These are the most critical games we're talking about.
Well, here's another thing, too.
But it's the human error.
Hey, but here's another thing. Take away from sports.
Yes, the hell you do. Why would you want somebody to mess something up on purpose and say, oh, that's beautiful?
I'm a Raider fan.
That's what I'm saying.
We've been messed around so much.
If we're going to have conversations about sports, we have to have logical ones.
That is logical. You're taking away the human aspect of the game.
What human aspect? The only human aspect of the game that matters is that humans are playing.
You know what? Let me tell you something about that. Pause. There's so many other people like him.
I know.
That is for him saying that is really logical, because I would say in the past 15 years, how technology has integrated in the sports, there's a whole lot of fans that's not used to technology in the sports. So
and it's stupid because you got to try to tell me what the hell a catch is. Hell, my eyes just seen this dude catch the ball and now you want to review it.
I would rather see.
Fuck. Come on, man.
A little bit of drawback of replay, because my problem is.
I'm with you.
But my problem is, it makes the game so damn long, and then
that's
now
why
you have
people
baseball. That's why
people
not even watching baseball.
People weren't watching baseball a long time ago. Stadium's been empty since the 80s. The thing with replay, and the reason why people hate replay, is because it takes so long. It should not take longer than 30 seconds with 4K and high definition to know what's going on the play.
We shouldn't be doing. We shouldn't be doing replay.
Yes, you should.
Certain calls, okay, I understand.
Yes, you should.
On top of the replays, you still do have human error because you're watching it 2 and 3 times.
And they still get it wrong.
Exactly, they do get it wrong.
And they still get it wrong. So
they
why waste the time?
On the coin flip at times.
I think they should get rid of what is a catch. And go back to the 80s.
Now
you're saying you seen him bobbling it, but he caught it.
You get you getting animated and saying they get it wrong. They getting it wrong just because of the views they have. They have to go off the best possible evidence.
Oh Lord Jesus.
We're gonna go back.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk.
Not
about that. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about.
You don't want it in your game. I'm gonna tell you, spreads like cancer.
Yeah, I'm bring up the scores. You go with your question.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna go a little longer. We're gonna go back to break.
Oh yeah, this is my ish right now. I'm bumping this in the car. I'm giving them a chance now. I'm giving them a chance now. Mob Sleep.
All right.
Isn't that Mob Sleep?
Mob Deep. Yes. The old school song of the day, Mob Deep.
That's what Tupac called a Mob Sleep.
Right.
You just listening to Mob Deep though?
Yeah.
In 2019.
Yeah. I'm with that whole East Coast, West Coast beat thing. I was there.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing that happened.
Hey man, but it was awesome for us.
How was it awesome that people
because they
died?
bought us off. No, I'm not talking about that, man.
Now,
This is going too
far.
far.
Not get too personal. 105-99, Toronto beat Milwaukee, so that series is up 3-2.
I'm done.
You have the Yankees beating Baltimore 6-5. You have Boston beating Toronto 8-2. Philly beating the Cubs 9-7, and the White Sox beating Houston 4-0.
Keep going.
All right. So you had a question about. See, that's all tennis.
You know, I mentioned it.
So
anyway,
I don't know what you have
I got
to say
another
about
question.
the,
Who do you think is going to be the hottest teams to look out for next year in the NHL, the 2020 NHL season?
2019, 2020.
Right.
You know, we had.
Just let it be smooth.
Well,
I just want
to start by saying, you know,
Don't
this
let 'em
season
get you
was very
rattled.
interesting with what happened in the playoffs, because we saw a lot of favorite teams get knocked out so early.
Right.
You know, we had, you know, Tampa get knocked out. They got swept in round one.
The Kings didn't even get there.
Yeah, Kings didn't even get there, as usual.
See?
The defending Stanley Cup champions got knocked out in round one. Pittsburgh got knocked out in round one. I mean, those are all teams that I think we can all assume are going to be back next year.
The Red Rings was nowhere to be found.
Just like the Kings.
But we won one. 2. Back to back.
You say it's like we don't. Do we really need to run down Detroit's championship history?
They just
But what's going to happen next year? Let's go into that.
You know,
Let's get into that.
I will be curious to see what comes of teams like Carolina and even St. Louis. You know, teams that weren't really expected to do a whole lot this year, and you know, you really didn't see it come up until more of the second half, especially in St. Louis, because
Right.
I mean, St. Louis was dead last in their division almost mid-January, and then, you know, caught fire thanks to their young goaltender Jordan Binnington.
Now, is this the changing of the guard, though?
That's a good question.
Nothing stays the same.
Yeah.
Trust me,
You know,
I've watched a lot of teams that were
I mean,
the Patriots.
It seems like every decade in
They're
the
going
NHL,
down.
there's always like 2 or 3 teams that rise up. And it's-
Austin as the city.
Yeah, but I mean,
Godzilla's gonna smash them.
but you just look at the 2010s as a whole.
Right.
You know, Chicago
Kings.
won 3,
The
the
Kings,
Kings won
2.
2,
Right.
Pittsburgh
Kings.
won 2.
Let's go back to the Kings.
Boston might win 2, depending on how this series goes.
St. Louis is gonna smack them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm
But then
going
you go
with.
back to like the 2000s. You have a bunch of repeat winners there. Detroit won 2.
So long ago.
But you see, there's kind of this trend where teams will rise up and win multiple championships.
Like Sands.
But
and
it's kind of a cycle thing.
Do you think that certain teams that haven't, that they're knocking on the door, can possibly the next few years punch through, like Carolina or Columbus or Nashville, that has you know big fan bases that actually they've been deep in the playoffs, they haven't got to the finals. But do you see any of those teams kind of?
Well, Nashville did get to the final.
Oh yeah, you're right. But breaking there, these newer
Yeah.
NHL teams.
Well, I mean, I
You see
can't.
Vegas.
I
Did
can't.
Vegas get back there? Carolina, Nashville.
The
You
Kings.
know what I mean? I said new teams.
There's not new teams.
Yeah, the Kings will be new. We didn't get there last year, so we do.
Well, good teams.
Yeah.
Gut shot.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to see really with Columbus, because Columbus made a push this year
Right.
with expiring contracts, and they, instead of selling those pieces off at the deadline for picks and prospects, they went out and landed a couple of big pieces at the trade deadline, and all they got out of that was their first ever playoff series win in franchise history.
Something. You got to baby steps.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
But that's the thing. You're sacrificing potential long-term success for what's ultimately kind of just a blip.
A
see-
Pyrrhic victory.
Well, here's the thing, though. Hockey's a lot like baseball, where you have a forum system. You see what I'm saying?
Hey,
so you can actually...
Get out of my head, because I was about to say that. I swear to you, it's just like baseball. But go ahead.
You have a forum system where you can actually homegrown talent. That's why you have the Dodgers, winning the West every year, because our forum system is like number one. Boston has a good forum system.
Yeah, I mean...
It pains me to say that,
But I mean...
I can't say that as a Yankees fan, so...
No. Yes, you can.
No.
the Yankees farm system in the past few years has been one of the best. That's how you got.
No, I know that. I can't say anything good about Boston.
Oh, no. That's why I said about the Yankees. That's what we went from saying getting the big names in free agency and whatnot to actually getting our talents homegrown, you know, and now you see the Yankees being one of the best teams, even with injuries. But as far as hockey is concerned, since it's such a mirror image, you know, and you see, like you said, with Columbus, actually switching, giving away their talents for, you know, big names as far as what baseball has done, do you see them actually knocking on the door next season?
They're going to be losing pieces, though. Artemi Panarin is probably gone. Sergei Bobrovsky's probably gone. You know, there's one of your top scorers and your starting goalie that, for what has been seen for months and months now, there's no indication that they are going to be coming back next year. Their contracts are up, and
basically they got a bunch of rentals and gave away their prospects.
Do they have money?
Just like matter of fact, just like how Kansas City Royals were, Houston, you know, years ago were like that. You know, Tampa Bay, they're always like, remember Tampa Bay, they would win and then basically give everybody away because they can't afford them. You know, so.
Oh, that's the Marlins you talk about.
Yeah, Miami Marlins, exactly. They did that. They did that twice. They did that twice, winning those championships.
But I mean, Columbus doesn't have the best track record when it comes to winning either. Like I just said, this was their first ever playoff series win in franchise history, and that's going back nearly 2 decades now. And you combine that with the fact that, you know, they have these pieces that aren't going to be there next season, most likely.
But you expect them to have another losing season by trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to really convince players to go there and say, you know, hey, you know, we can keep this going. We can
Ohio. Nobody wants to go. What is wrong with Ohio, man?
It's Ohio.
It sounds like
nobody ever wants to go to Ohio.
It's Ohio.
Okay.
God.
We're gonna go to
break.
Can
we play the Cleveland song?
I gotta go to break.
He'll laugh.
And we'll come back with that.
He gonna laugh from a good place in your soul. It's gonna be life changing. I promise you.
It's like that.
Oh man, the Cleveland song. Every time something goes on with Ohio, we should play the Cleveland song.
For help managing yours, you can trust the Blau Company, building meaningful, long-lasting relationships for over 50 years. Services include accounting, tax preparation, consulting, and more for both businesses and individuals. The office is located at 1204 East Baseline Road, Suite 104 in Tempe. More information can be found at blauco.com. That's BLAUCO.com.
So now they're kind of trending backwards.
Radio Phoenix is your community radio station.
Hey, Casey, it's Nico. Hi, shout out to Ruby's family.
Hi, Mom. We are a resource for your community. We care about the people in it and want to bring the programs that matter the most to you.
I want to say hello to my beautiful wife, Cheryl, in Collin Hills, Arizona. I want to say hi to all the people.
I want to say hi to a friend of mine in China.
I think their big thing
bringing the world to Phoenix and Phoenix to the world. RadioPhoenix.org, where the family comes to talk, sing, connect.
We'll come back with that, because it's already 35 hours.
Did you know that Habitat for Humanity Central Arizona has been building decent, affordable housing in the valley for more than 30 years? Your donation to one of our 5 area restores support the mission of Habitat as we serve local families in need. To schedule a free pickup of your donation, visit us online at habitatcaz.org/restore. That's habitatcaz.org/restore. Habitat.
5 things.
Decent.
I'll run through 5 things fast, so we don't need that much time. It's not that deep this week.
Right at 45.
All right.
Yaga, this is your Yaga man, Mr. Clean B of the Yaga Movement Radiocast. Join me every Saturday live on RadioPhoenix.org, bring you the best of Caribbean flavor. Anything from reggaeton, dancehall, Afrobeat, and much, much more. Join me from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Listen to live artists, interviews, best of Phoenix, and much, much more. Remember, this is the Yaga man, Mr. Clean B at the Yaga Movement Radiocast. Yaga.
Hey man, stop talking about old people. We got feelings too.
Fun time to Cleveland today, Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings.
This thing's playing in everybody's car. It's off the Ohio State line.
Who knows, you might even see this guy. You should come on down to West 6th Street. It's the perfect place if you're a douchebag. Watch the poor people all wait for buses. Who looks up still uses a payphone. Here's the place where there used to be industry. This train is carrying jobs out of Cleveland. Cleveland leads the nation in drifters. Here's a statue of Moses Cleveland. He's the guy who invented Cleveland. Yeah!
I told you to change your life. I told you it would change your life. You're going to think about that song every day now.
Be driving around to my clean. No.
Driving around with that bumping
Ooh,
that.
boy.
15s and
you know there's
look, Goosebumps.
Right.
Giggles.
Right.
you know there is a second Cleveland song too, right?
What?
Yes.
Oh, go find it, man.
No.
I'll find
Really?
it.
The second one I think is like 10 times better.
Oh wow.
Goodness, I gotta give you. I gotta give you this one. Yes.
We will be airing that next week on the show. The second Cleveland song. I am going to find it.
Round of applause for DJ Hockey Truck right there. Now, moving to the NFL, we got some NFL news and notes. Ezekiel Elliott. I got to give him this because that it's just.
You big dummy.
Right, it's just who he is. He's just a big dummy.
You big dummy. You big dummy.
Why is he a big dummy?
Because he's Ezekiel Elliott.
Now, he's at a concert, festival, whatnot, and him and his girlfriend gets into it, and security guard comes to break it up or whatever. You know, I don't think nothing domestic violence happened or whatever.
He tried to get a kiss, and she realized he looked like an Ewok in his breath stank. Let me stop. Stop. You're not going to get him to heaven. Woo!
He's a Buckeye. You can talk about him. Go ahead.
Well, no, I go for them every year against y'all.
Nobody's perfect.
But then the security guard comes and they get into it, and he kind of bumps him, and the security guard flops. You know, he flopped like a Lottie Divac. You know what I mean? And
like a European
he's obviously going to get
player.
sued later on this year by the guy. But then, you know, everyone's kind of speculating, oh, he's going to get disciplined by the NFL. What's going to happen?
No.
Jerry Jones expects him not to be disciplined. My thing is, you're Ezekiel Elliott. You have so many instances with the law, with women, with, you know, being suspended this past year, 6 games, 2 years ago, basically kind of destroying the Cowboys, you know, to my chagrin. And why are you still out there in the spotlight, in the limelight, being seen? Period.
Millennial.
I want y'all to pay attention to this because I, a Michigan Wolverine devout.
I'm sorry.
am about to, I don't know why.
Go Sparty.
Winningest football team in college history and their little brother for a reason. We'll get to your college
team. Okay, good, come on.
No. This is one of those situations where this is news because it's Ezekiel Elliott. Right. This is not worth talking about.
Bingo! Hey!
This is not,
finally!
This is not worth
somebody.
This is not worth our time.
Right!
Like
let's talk about Juwan Howard being the Michigan basketball coach.
Right. Let's talk about something that are actually worth our time.
I hear you. My question is just what we always talk about.
I suffer.
No, I mean, what we always talk about is the fact that if you were this level of success, why are you even outside?
Just stay home.
Stay at home. Have everything come to you. You have millions and millions of dollars. Stay at home.
I gotta be a recluse because people want to be stupid and try to play me. See, I told y'all.
He played himself.
No.
On this one.
Well, the thing
is, he played himself.
I'm not defending him completely, but the dude that you said, the dude flopped. He flopped for a reason, and he knew what he was doing. The flop alone kills any credibility he has. And again, he and his girl had an argument. It wasn't an altercation. Anybody been in a relationship? Have you ever argued in the relationship?
Right.
So can we act like arguing with your woman is not news? Because it's not. But we are in a hypersensitive time where people invest in bubble think, and if you think differently than somebody else and they have this old BS cancel culture, let's have an adult conversation. It's not worth our time.
I just gotta say this about Ezekiel Elliott right now.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, because he did. He played himself.
Okay, Juwan Howard is now the new Michigan basketball coach. You think it's going to work?
Yes, it's absolutely going to work, but just on a more personal note, Can I say how happy I am that there's a possibility of a 5-5 reunion? Jalen Rose, when they asked him about this on Get Up this morning, he was mentioning that, and
that's huge.
That's enormous.
That's huge. I mean,
like
what's going on with them and Chris Webber?
They wearing black socks.
Not even that.
I still wear
just
black
a
socks.
reunion in Michigan.
Well, no. I mean, that's a huge part. But how the NCAA and the University of Michigan did the Fab Five and essentially tried to erase them from their
Final Fours, right?
Yeah,
erase their Final Fours.
So like they are like anybody under 30 probably doesn't understand because they don't pay attention to anything unless somebody.
Well, that's very a very significant thing of that team.
They were a culture shit. Like I got just growing up. That was my teenage years. That was a culture shifting identity to see people going from the booty shorts to the
right. I would say no. The
black socks.
Yes. To piggyback what you're saying, when I watched that 30 for 30, and I watched the Fab Five live as well as a kid.
Yes, sir.
You know, and the change from the regular white socks to the black socks, and the reason why they did that was culture changing because they were young enough but smart enough to know you're not going to sell product off my back. So I'm going to wear something that no one else even likes to wear, and we're going to change the culture ourselves. Wearing black socks was such a culture-changing moment. The fact that Nike even started making black socks, which they never did, is because of them.
Well, just
to make money.
Just like anything else, and like America has for centuries made money off of black culture. This is not news. The thing that made them so revolutionary is that they even had games where they stopped wearing the Michigan apparel, and they just had blank shirts with nothing on them,
right?
Because they knew what was going on. If it weren't for the Fab Five in the '90s, there would be no LeBron.
Right.
And when I say that, I don't mean from the basketball talent. I'm talking about from the business aspect.
Exactly. To own your own and own your own brand and not be capitulated to someone else's, will.
Absolutely.
Which that's what happens to college basketball, college sports as a whole. And going on top of that is now the NCAA is actually looking at paying the players for their likenesses and trying to get back the video games back on and to actually pay the players that way. I think that's a step forward a bit, but what do you think about what we always talked about with the NCAA scandal, with the paying the players, since we're talking about the Fab Five? Do you think the NCAA is doing a good thing as far as at least giving them some sort of compensation as far as paying them for their likenesses and their actual brand themselves, because they are a brand even in college?
I believe it when I see it. The NCAA have been pimps for the longest. This is nothing new. So
they gangster max.
Yeah. So the bottom line is they need to give just a flat percentage. Everyone always talks about, well, you can't pay all the athletes. Homie, ain't nobody watching men's lacrosse on a regular on TV.
Facts.
So if you have a flat percentage, like
I can just shut up.
30, like say 35%. If you have somebody that's bringing you billions of dollars, and for the NCAA basketball, the whole reason they had the one and done rule was to make money off of these boys for at least a year.
You're literally mirroring what Kenny has been saying since we started this show.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. He's absolutely right.
So let me just put this on right now.
If you want some advice from Uncle Ken, I'm gonna keep $1 million with you forever.
He's right.
That's exactly. And Aki Chuck, man, chime in a little bit, man. What do you think about it?
No, I absolutely.
We're gonna go to break real quick. Go ahead.
I absolutely think that players should get something for their.
Duluth, Minnesota should make more money than football because Duluth, Minnesota makes more money probably in hockey than they do in football.
Yeah,
so the hockey players should make more bread.
More than the football. Yeah, absolutely. That makes
you should be paid according to your sport.
Right.
You know what it is. Now, if you want the big bread, hey man, put down a tennis racket.
Right.
Put on some pads. Go run into something.
If I 10 seconds real quick. We got all these analytics to break down games. You mean to tell me they don't have some type of algorithm to figure out the money that somebody impacts for a team and pay them accordingly?
Oh, they do. Those are accountants.
Exactly.
And with that being said, let me get this live readout. Support for Radio Phoenix comes in part from Gifts-A-Non. Since 1977, Gifts-A-Non have provided books, gifts, self-help programs, and support for Valley residents recovering from addiction. 2 locations are available, one at 7th Street, just south of Bethany Home in Phoenix, and the other at Scottsdale Road and Shea in Scottsdale. More information available at 602-277-5256 or search for Gibson Inc. on Facebook. We'll be right back real quick with more Mark on Word Sports Show.
All right, so we have this game that we play. It's called the name game.
Okay.
You're already guessing. Yeah! So we all get to guess. He gives out 5 names. We got to guess if they have a good game or a bad game.
Just come on next, right?
Right.
Okay.
Do their game. Do their last name.
Okay.
And that's all you get. You just get their last name. You get nothing else. No indication of what sport.
He goes and finds the most fucked up names.
And just has to see if they had a good game or a bad game?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. You're right or wrong.
We know that.
I'm going to look. Okay.
Did anyone ever play the computer party game You Don't Know Jack?
No.
Okay.
Never heard of it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you're sorry.
That was awkward. I mean,
whoa. The state of Tennessee makes community college free for all adults.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They just trying to get people to move there.
Hmm.
Because I mean, think about it. Remember what I was telling my daughter? College is overrated. I wouldn't tell my kid. I would send my kid to trade school or join the union before I say go to college.
It's overpriced, but the experience definitely isn't overrated.
Oh, well, come on, man.
I'm going from what I know.
Like I always say,
particularly with grad school, and like I thought the same thing until I started my creative writing grad school program and saw the connections I was able to make just by being in a writing community.
Yeah, but if that's one subject of study. I'm talking about as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Even just the experience.
I know more
from a social aspect.
Hold on. I know more people who go to college for one thing, but get out and they have to do another.
Absolutely.
And I know more people. You're you're a rarity.
Well, no, I'm not, because I started off with a double major in mechanical engineering and physics and became a writer. So, like, changing majors isn't
okay, but see, you're a rarity. What I mean by that is that you got out of school when you changed your major and were able to go into the career that you wanted to go into.
Honestly, I made my own way. I piecemealed my entire life together.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you're a rarity.
No, I didn't finish college. But the experience I had from college and the life lessons that I learned, the ability to learn how to network, there are things outside of the classroom that are vital for people that they can experience. You good? I saw that.
Like I always learned was the fact that
football.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's how you know who you know.
Bingo.
Yeah, exactly too.
Hey,
what up?
As if the thing is,
everything's messed up here, man. So we're gonna have to wing it. Sam went out.
No, the stream went out.
Yeah, Sam, the stream.
Let's come
back.
back.
The stream's on a different computer.
Let's come back. I hate that we got to cut Marvin short. Let's come back.
I think there's a lot of it, man.
That's Marvin Gaye right there in the city. DJ Vex.
Basement
he
Tapes.
just poked his head in there. Basement Tapes is up next. You know, y'all know what it is.
Massive,
we
y'all
got 10 minutes left, so we're going to do this real quick.
Who's the lead for?
I had to post on Facebook Live. Thanks everyone for watching on Facebook Live. Let's everyone listen on TuneIn Radio. All right, we got a full house here, and we're going to do this right now. Y'all know what the name game is. I got 5 names no one's ever seen, and you're going to ask if they had a good game or a bad game. All right? So the first one is Frentesi.
Bad game.
Frentesi.
Bad game.
Okay, you say bad game. Anybody else?
I'm going to go with good game.
I will go with good game.
All right. So, all the good games. Ha-ha! Kenny, you was wrong. It is Davide Frentesi from Team Italy. They beat Mexico 2-1 in the under-20 World Cup.
So, well, that sounds like some bacteria you get in your mouth when you don't brush your teeth.
What's wrong with you?
The next one.
Right. Don't it sound like a bacteria?
Right. Lindoso.
Lindoso. Bad game.
Bad game.
Bad game. This is what we get for listening to Kevin.
Yep.
Rodrigo Lindoso
Whoever's the
scored
first
a
name.
goal for Internacional in a 3-1 win over Paysandolo of the Copa de Brazil soccer tournament.
I thought we had a rule you only had to get the Bundesliga soccer.
There is no Bundesliga. It's not
There is a Bundesliga.
I know, there is, but they don't be playing. I don't know why, okay?
They do. That's the best soccer league in the world. Just because it sounds interesting.
What's the name of that?
Segura.
Oh, I know who that is. I'll let y'all guess first.
Segura.
Most likely a good game. I couldn't wait. Y'all was taking too long.
I'm going to say bad just because he said good.
I'll say good, just because.
Who was?
He is right.
Right. Ah, I know
John
who it was.
Segura from the Phillies.
I know
5
it was.
at-bats, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and a home run in a 9-7 win over the Cubs.
Dude be balling. The only guy on the team.
Senzad Taylor.
See, look.
Senzad Taylor.
Bad game.
Right.
It's got to be bad. Everything else.
That sounds like a bad sushi dish. It's bad game.
Altunio Senzadela from the Colorado Rockies, 3 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 8 runs, 8 ERA, 6.21 ER, and a 14-6 loss over the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Goodness. Thank you, Pittsburgh. Beat them again.
Yeah, 3 innings. He got rocked.
Beat them again. Let him pitch tomorrow night, too.
You got to make that push a T sound when you hit him. Yeah.
You're right. And the last one, Yas Termska.
Bless you.
Oh, I gotta give you this
one. Good game.
Bad game. Bad. Just because his name sucks.
Diana Yastermeska.